The first stage of this project is going to be to establish a background for your menu. In order to do this, we want to have a background that lets the text and all the images stand out and be nice and contrasting and easy to read. Let's go down to our Layers panel, and we're going to scroll to the very bottom and select the background layer. As a matter of fact, that's all that we want to see. So let's hold down our Option or Alt key and click on the background layer icon, the little eyeball icon, and that'll turn off visibility for everything else. With this layer selected, let's place one of our background textures on top of it. If we go up to File and down to Import Embedded, we can then choose our background textures, and from here you can choose any of the textures that you want. By the way, whenever I select these, if you're on a Mac computer, you can press the space bar and it'll give you a little preview of what it looks like. Any one of these would be a great background to be able to work from. I'm going to select Texture 6 and say Place, and this will place it inside of our design. We don't want to lock in the size of it until we can have it completely fill out the entire area. So with your Move tool selected, let's click on the outer edge and drag until it goes beyond that side. If necessary, we can zoom out by hitting Command and the minus sign so I can see a little bit smaller. Let's do the same over here on the left-hand side. Click and drag and scale it up. If yours goes outside the edge of the document, that's totally fine. But that looks pretty good and it's filling out the entire area. Let's hit the little checkbox at the top. The next thing we want to do is to add a solid color fill on top of this so that we can change the color and value of this background. In order to do this, let's go back to our Layers panel and scroll to the very bottom and make sure your texture layer is selected. Then click on the little icon in the very center of your Layers panel to pop it open and choose Solid Color. This is going to add a solid color fill on top of it, and it's going to allow you to pick whatever color that you want it to be. Notice that when you select it, it'll automatically fill it in with just that solid color. Now, of course, we want to keep this on brand and use some of the color schemes that we have. So let's open up our color theme. And again, I'm going to be using this color theme, but you can choose whichever color theme that you want for your design. Some of these are based on the logo, some of these are based on the food items that are being present, and some are just appropriate for this particular kind of brand. I like this one because it also shows me all of the different lighter and darker tones. I want my background to be this nice kind of dark marine navy blue. The hashtag for it, or the hexadecimal code for it, is 16232E. So jumping back into Photoshop, down here at the very bottom, 16232E is what we can type in down here. You can see it gives us that color. Now we can say OK. In order to apply this color to the texture, we need to change our blending mode. So once again, with the Fill Color layer selected, go up to the top of your Layers panel and change it from normal to one of these other ones. Notice that as you click on it and scroll over it, it'll give you an idea of what it looks like. Some of these are going to be a little bit more better looking than others, we'll say. I like Multiply because it still keeps everything dark, but you can just barely get a good hint of that color. Things like Screen, Lighten, and those tend to pick up the lighter colors, while Overlay and Hard Light tend to affect the middle tones. For me, maybe I'll keep it as a nice Hard Light, and I think that looks pretty good. Now, later on, if you want to change the background color, let's say you wanted it to be something that's a lighter color. Going back to our little color schemes, you can choose any one of these other ones. For instance, let's choose this lightest gold here, E3C75F. Going back to our Layers panel, we can double click on this layer icon and you can type it in inside of here. Again, that color is E3C75F. E3C75F. We'll say OK to that. Again, because I've got everything set to be Hard Light, you can see how it mixes, but if I was to change it to another version, you can see how it will give it a slightly different result. Depending on the color and the value, you may have to change up how everything is present. The other thing you can do for your design is also change the opacity of it. If you feel that the color is too harsh, drop the opacity down just a bit and you can see how it will lighten up that particular color set. I'm kind of wanting to go back to my blue, so I'm going to go up to Edit and Undo, and keep going back to Edit and Undo until it goes back to the state that you want. Now let's see how everything looks when we turn back on our text. If you Control-click on the eyeball icon and choose Show Hide All Other Layers, this will turn on all of your layers. You can click the eyeball icons to see how your text is readable. Your text should be contrasting enough so that you can read whatever's on here. If your background is too light and you have light text, we need to change the color of something to be either lighter or darker. For example, let's put this back to be that lighter color. Right now it's a dark blue. Here's what it looks like as a light blue. See how that's hard to read? Definitely don't want to do that. Same thing if we did a lighter yellow or anything like that. I'm going to hit cancel. Let's go back to this one. So that's reading pretty well. If necessary, and you need to change the color of your text, you can always choose your type tool. So let's choose our little horizontal text tool. You can click inside of the text box, and you can either click and drag over all of it, or you can do Command or Control A to select all of it. With everything selected, check out your color panel up at the very top. Clicking on this will open up your color picker, and this will give you the ability to choose a lighter or a darker version of that color. You can even choose to use some of the colors that are part of your color scheme. Let's go back and get that light color here. E3, C7, 5F. Down here, E3, C7, 5F. And say OK. You can see how that also shows up really well, and it keeps inside of our color scheme. So I think I'm going to stick with that. You can quickly and easily change up the colors for all of the text or the different text areas is simply by choosing the layer. Since all of the menu items, I want those to be that yellow color. I'm going to click on the layer for it. You can see the sandwich menu is now selected. Then I can go to my Properties panel and I can change the color here. By clicking on it with this one, I can type in the hexadecimal equivalency, so E3, C7, 5F. You can see how it changes it there. Take a moment and play around with the colors for your background and your text to make sure everything is nice and readable. Now that we've got the colors established for our background and our main text, the next thing we can work on is adding some of the elements to each of the different sections. But before we do, let's go up to File and let's save our work, and then we'll jump into the next video.